What's up, everybody? Y'all come on in. Oh, we got a phone for y'all today. Come on in. Come on in. Excuse me. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Sherry? Come on in. What's up, Gigi? Alright, we'll give him another minute, y'all, and we'll get started. How about that? What's up, Nana? Oh, I'm good, Gigi. I'm good. How about yourself? Well, all right. How about we get started? See what I'm saying? How about we gonna go in real quick? The title of today's lecture is Ninjutsu Chronicles. Yeah. Today we're gonna talk about the ninja, the way of the shinobi, the art of stealth, the art of invisibility, mind control techniques, how they're using mind control on us, yada, 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 yada. So let us begin. What is a shinobi? You see what I'm saying? What is that? What's up, Layla? What is this thing we call a shinobi / kunoichi, which are the female ninjas? They are masters of stealth. Literally, shinobi means one who sneaks, or one who moves around without noise. You see what I'm saying? Their steps are even quiet. You see what I'm saying? And the abilities to do amazing things in secret and in stealth is something to behold. You know, like my boy Palpatine once said, that which is done in secret has power. See what I'm saying? So that's the basis of this lecture. Stealth is health, baby. Stealth is health. What's up, D? Now, so a shinobi is one who sneaks, one who moves himself, one who moves without noise, one who moves in quietness, one who moves in shadow, and even in light, depending on will. So it does not matter the frequency. What's up, Dolph? Does not matter the frequency. What's up, Mavro? Of what they're moving with. Now, what are the origins of the shinobi? We're gonna turn to my Ninja Hand Shadow book, page 10. Says here, the actual origins of the Japanese ninja can be traced back to a 6th century Common Era rogue named Otomano Saijin, or Saijin Otomano, because they write their names backwards, right? Better known as Shinobi, one who sneaks in. Otomo was employed as a spy for Prince Shotoku during the latter struggle for the imperial throne. Where Otomo acquired his skills not known for certain, like most accomplished spies, he undoubtedly gleaned his ninja techniques from a variety of sources available in Japan at the time, discarding the superfluous and embracing and expanding on what worked. Possible sources of such information at the time including techniques from as far afield as India and Korea and even Tibet and China. The most likely source of information was mainland China and included arriving texts and teachers willing to share their secrets. Among these were Chinese military classes such as Sun Tzu's Ping Fa, The Art of War. Due to constant fighting between rival samurai factions, Japanese ninja techniques continued to develop. However, at this time, anyone using stealth and skullduggery, e.g. criminals or spies, was considered ninja. The word ninja comes from the Japanese written character for shinobi, and in medieval time was applied generically to all those, from sundry criminals to master spies who use stealth, secrecy, and subterfuge to accomplish their goals. The 14th century saw a major increase in ninja activity as ninja criminal gangs took advantage of the chaos caused by war and samurai to rob and plunder. At the same time, every would-be ninja spies peeked out and peddled information to the highest bidder. This century also saw the rise of true ninja in the form of the great Shinobi Clans in the central Japanese provinces of Iga and Koga. Eventually, these highly organized ninja groups number over 50 separate clans and schools, Ryu, making the region a near-autonomous state. Some of these great clans had been formed by Yamabushi, mountain warriors, Buddhists, and cultist monks displaced after the destruction of their temples. Other ninja schools, the Kusunoki Ryu, for example, were founded by bands of Ronin, samurai who had lost their feudal lords and all their holdings in the internecine fighting, long 1997. He just referenced his book. Truth be known, most of these ninja clans wanted simply to be left alone. Others, however, actively warred against regional samurai lords, daimyo, or hired themselves out as spies and mercenaries, playing one samurai faction against the other. It was during this medieval period that true ninjutsu, the art of the ninja or art of the shinobi, came into its own, with the great ninja clans perfecting its dark and deadly craft. So there you go. That's where the origins of ninjutsu come from. Now, what does the word ninjutsu actually mean? It simply means stealth techniques, which include, but not limited to, like camouflage, invisibility, blind spot manipulation, genjutsu, illusionary techniques, Simon Jutsu, hypnotic techniques, yada 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 yada. You see what I'm saying? That's what ninjutsu actually means, stealth techniques. What are the traditional techniques of ninjutsu? We're going to refer to our Shadow Handbook, page 12. They are known as the 9 halls. Now, traditional ninjutsu is divided into 9 areas of training known as halls. Each of these halls, while distinct in itself, overlaps with and complements the other 8 for a rounded course of study. Ninja trainees first familiarize themselves with all 9 halls before specializing in a particular hall. Over the course of a lifetime, dedicated ninja will master several, if not all, 9 halls. Although each hall is separate, each has its basis, the concept of the shadow hand. Techniques whose specific focus is to help the ninja to remain undetected until striking, strike unseen, and then vanish from sight, surviving to strike another day. Each of the 9 halls is described below. You have unarmed combat, combat with wooden weapons, combat with blade weapons, combat with flexible weapons, specialized combat, the art of disguise, the art of espionage, the art of escape and evasion, and finally, you have the art of mysticism. So there you go. There you go. Those are the 9 halls. Now, with these 9 halls, you have something else going on within these 9 halls. You have the major techniques within those 9 halls. And the main 9 techniques is called breathing. Well, there are 8 main techniques of the ninja. Breathing, the breathing techniques that they have, and meditative techniques that they have. Nimbleness, which is their ability to run, climb, and jump with their force. What's up, Alexis? What's up, Kayla? Next, sword play, lance play, the use of darts, the use of gunpowder, swiftness, suppleness, which is supreme flexibility, and of course, more unarmed combat or taijutsu. The secondary skills include escapology, which is exfiltration, stealth, ambush, infiltration, espionage. Espionage is the ability to infiltrate, gather intel, take out who you need to take out, and exfiltrate. See what I'm saying? Intelligence gathering, subterfuge, subversion, assassination, hacking, saboteur, work, forgery, making weapons / metallurgy. That's what metallurgy really is, making weapons used with the usage of metals. Poison making. They also have different techniques. We already went over sword techniques known as Genjutsu, and we went over unarmed techniques, which is taijutsu. You also have stick and staff techniques, which is bojutsu. You have the spear technique, which is sojutsu. You have naginata techniques, which is naginata jutsu. You have kusarigama techniques with that particular weapon. You have shuriken jutsu, throwing techniques, throwing weapon techniques. You have kyaku jutsu, pyrotechnics, which is the ability to use technology dealing with fire, like making bombs, grenades, dynamite, stuff like that. Hins no jutsu, disguises and impersonation. That's an art, the art of disguise. Shinobi Iri, stealth and entering methods. Bajutsu, horsemanship, and now their Bajutsu is extended to cars, planes, boats, yada 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 yada. See what I'm saying? Buryaku, tactics, dealing with different tactics and learning of different tactics. Chia, espionage, Intanjutsu, escaping and concealment. Tenman, meteorology, and Chiman, geography. So those are all the basic techniques. We'll get into more of this in a second, but those are the basic techniques that we're dealing with right now, as far as what you're going to learn in this ninja school. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're going to learn in this ninja school. Now, so we covered what are the traditional techniques in ninjutsu, and of course I just covered the question, what all do you learn in ninjutsu as far as, you know, the basic traditional techniques. Now, what is Taisavaki Jutsu? Now, that's Shadow Hand. It is known as the Shadow Hand or the Art of Avoidance. Shadow Hand book, page 15 and 16. What we got going on? Page 15 and 16. Here we go. Taisavaki Jutsu includes all strategies, tactics, and techniques that allow one to remain hidden until striking, to strike unseen, and then have instruct the enemy to elude capture, make good on one's escape. For a technique to qualify, a shadow hand must aid in the accomplishment of one or more four criteria. Shadow hand techniques aid the practitioner in remaining undetected, even when surrounded by enemies. Goddamn. This is known as Ino Jutsu, the art of hiding. Shadow hand techniques allow the practitioners to strike down a foe suddenly and safely before the latter's arrival on the scene is even suspected. That's 2. Let me read that one again. Shadow hand techniques allow the practitioner to strike down a foe suddenly and safely before the latter's arrival on the scene is even suspected. That's before his team show up. The third one is, once combat is joined, shadow hand techniques enables the practitioner to misdirect his opponent and then strike with unexpected and unseen blows. And finally, the fourth one, when necessary, shadow hand techniques allows the practitioner to vanish from the scene and elude any pursuers. This is in Genjutsu, the art of escape and evasion or exfiltration. Now, many techniques from many different schools and styles of martial arts fit these 4 criteria and thus qualify as shadow hand. The more of these shadow hand techniques the martial art can isolate and master, no matter from what school of survival they originate, the better be his or her overall defensive and offensive arsenal. Not restricting oneself to a particular style of fighting was one of the major strengths of medieval ninja, and should be one of the main training objectives of the contemporary street ninja. Dirk Skinner, Street Ninja, 1995. What's up, Dorothy? What's up, Robin? When setting out to master the shadow hand, the most important thing is that the student first and foremost internalize the concept of the shadow hand, as opposed to simply learning various techniques and repeating them by rote. Mastering the concept of the shadow hand requires that the student obtain and then hone a talent for improvising. The ability to think on our feet, to adjust instantly to changing circumstances, is the hallmark of the shadow hand. Nothing will get you killed more quickly than hesitating and or being predictable. Therefore, before you learn the specific techniques offered in part 2 of this book, it is important that you first understand the basis of how human beings actually see. Comprehending how your enemy sees the world around him is the first step in making him see what you want him to see, and preventing him from seeing what you don't want him to see. So there you go. There y'all go. Then they go into the basics of seeing. Like, yo, they show you the eye. They show you what the blind spot is in your eye. See what I'm saying? The blind spot. They made the ninja. There are many different assassin groups, but the ninja took it a step forward and further and honed it into a full-fledged martial art, right? So they take use of this blind spot here, and they can trick your eye with multiple shadow hand techniques, and they call this blind spot the optic disc. So yeah, and if you like, they got exercise in here where you learn your blind spot. If you know your blind spot, it's usually like 4 to 6 inches from your face, where you're gonna notice that your hand disappears, right? So if you know how to take advantage of your blind spot, then nobody else can take advantage of your blind spot, because you know yourself well enough to, when a motherfucker trying to get in range, to use that against you. You see what I'm saying? So this you got going on here, we dealing with this blind spot. So let's see here. They have different shifting silhouettes, learn how to camouflage techniques, different fighting stances, you know, like this one here. It's a real dope book. You see what I'm saying? It's a real dope book. Let's see here. Different sneak attacks. You know, here go a ninja above a dude out of his line of sight. Real dope, real dope. Let's see here. When near, make an enemy believe you are far away. When far away, make an enemy imagine you are near. Sun Tzu. The point of view. Manipulating that optic disc. That optic nerve. You see what I'm saying? Manipulation of that blind spot. You see what I'm saying? Of your eye. It's a real powerful book. Real dope, y'all. Real dope. Get you a copy so you can learn the art of the shadow hand. And you know, let's see here. Now, they say the strategy of the shadow hand. Check out what Sun Tzu says. Sun Tzu says there are 2 types of forces a general has at his disposal. You have Chang, which is direct force, and Qi, indirect force. These 2 are sometimes referred to as, respectively, as normal, covert, easily seen, and extraordinary, i.e. misleading and covert. Well, what he meant to say was normal, i.e. overt and easily seen, and then you have indirect, which is extraordinary, i.e. misleading and covert. covert. You see what I'm saying? As military forces go, Chain manifests itself as conventional troops, while Chi amounts to special forces and irregulars such as guerrilla fighters. See what I'm saying? In larger field operations, Chain strategy is the overt movement of troops and equipment that is easily seen or is allowed to be discovered by an enemy. Such open operations allow the general to divert his enemy's attention while hiding his true intention. See what I'm saying? So the very powerful book. They even have a concept called masking your wall. And masking your wall is learn to mask your body language. You see what I'm saying? Mask your body language. Check this out. Through meditation and mastery of body language, ninja shadow handlers learn to disguise their intention to do others harm. You see what I'm saying? Ninja refer to this as masking their wa. Wa can be translated as presence, aura, or intent. Some adept and attuned martial arts masters can read other people's wa and determine as they approach whether they have evil intentions in their heart, or what we call around the way murderous intent. Other times, these masters can sense another's intention just as the person prepares to strike a treacherous blow. Some possess this ability from birth. The rest of us have to work at it. And they call it uncommon sense, the sixth sense, yada, 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 yada. The ability to master wall allows shadow handlers to disguise any body tension or revealing emotion. Overt hate for an enemy, excitement, fear that they're the targeted foe might pick up on, either consciously or subconsciously. Let's see here. How do you do that? How do you mask your wa? You mask your wa by learning to put on your cloak of invisibility. How do we put on the cloak of invisibility, Mom? How do we mask their energy signature? That's a damn good question, y'all. Let's find out. We got a video here for y'all. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, you can't see that, can you? There we go. It's a dark scene, so try to brighten this up as much as possible.
Happy Christmas, Harry. Happy Christmas, Ron. What are you wearing? Oh, Mum made it. Looks like you've got one too. I've got presents. Yeah. There they are. Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you. Use it well. What is it? Some kind of cloak. Well, let's see them. Put it on. Whoa! My body's gone. I know what that is. That's an invisibility cloak. I'm invisible. Really rare. Who gave it to you? There was no name. It just said, use it well.
Now, what you do for your meditative exercise, cloaking exercise, is you envision putting on that cloak of invisibility like Harry Potter just did. See what I'm saying? And what's gonna happen is you're going to mask your energy, and you're gonna know you've done it right when people respond to you differently. See, usually the reason why a lot of people attack star seeds is because they can pick up on their glow, their soul glow. See what I'm saying? Their shine. You see what I'm saying? Everybody can feel your light, and they become jealous of the light because they don't have it. But what you can do is mask your energy signature, mask your glow, and when you do that, people, you seem as if yeah, you got something about you, but they're more attracted to the mystery of you. You see what I'm saying? Versus knowing exactly what it is. They know there's something about you, but they don't know what it is. So they actually attracts them to you versus repelling them or them attacking you. See what I'm saying? You're going to see a difference in the people, how people treat you around you. Now, this ain't going to stop them from, treating you bad overall, but it'll stop them from heavily attacking you because they're picking up on that soul light, that soul glow. You see what I'm saying? That shine. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So you mask your glow, you mask your shine, you put on that cloak of invisibility, also known as the Force cloak, and they can't see you. You see what I'm saying? They can't touch you. And they're gonna be like, damn, why we can't touch him? Well, the reason why they can't touch you is because they can't sense you. You appear to be a regular person. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're talking about when we talk about the concept of becoming an apparition, more soul and spirit than man. Well, this is one of the techniques that you need to learn to become that apparition, making yourself invisible to the average person. You see what I'm saying? The average person and people as a whole. You see what I'm saying? They'll still be able to touch you and feel you, but they won't sense that inner power, that inner force inside of you. They gonna pick up on you because the stronger your soul glow get, of course, they can't help but see that there's something unique about you. They just won't know what it is, so they'll be attracted to that mystery. You see what I'm saying? And they'll always be trying to solve the mystery of you. See what I'm saying? And sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's intriguing, sometimes they'll just lash out like, who are you? What are you? Why do I feel this way around you? And other times they'll just dismiss it like, maybe they just got a good attitude or a good personality when in actuality we all know it's your soul glow. You see what I'm saying? It's that shine. So that's what's going on here. That's what's going on. Let's see here. So now, let's continue on with our videos here. Now that's invisibility. That's how it works. See what I'm saying? Always focus on putting on that cloak of invisibility. See what I'm saying? Harry Potter. Now, what is the way of training? How does the training work for a ninja? Let's find out. Let's get into this. This is from the movie Ninja Assassin. So check this out.
But instead you fought, as you
internal damage. And in the movie, he forced him to meditate to heal himself for a whole 12 hours. He had to spend the whole night learning to meditate and regenerate from the internal damage that he received from it. Pretty dope movie. What's up, Bill Cristo?
You must see with the mother in your eyes.
Uh-oh. There you go, him just training in the room.
Pain breeds weakness.
Yeah, I seen that part. So yeah, as y'all can see, that the ninja training is something serious. Motherfuckers gotta learn to see. They gotta learn to walk around for a whole year, missing one of their senses. Like, meaning they gotta be blind for a whole year, or they can't hear for a whole year. So the other senses get amplified. You see what I'm saying? The other senses get amplified. Then, of course, the martial training, and different special techniques and effects, and how to fight and how to deal with your enemy and kill your enemy, all type of cool shit, right? You know, and it's many different ways for them to do these things. You know, it's many different clans. Don't get it twisted. The Shinobi still exist. They just ain't telling nobody. You know, they usually live in the mountains of Japan these days. But yeah, they still exist, chilling, doing what they do best. So yeah, and this movie showed that they still around. Motherfuckers didn't believe that ninjas existed, even in the movie, and they was like, nah, they still here. They still around. They just chilling. You see what I'm saying? They just chilling. Now, as far as some of the things he had to learn in the movie, it was a girl ninja that he was dealing with, a ninja assassin. She awoken his heart chakra. And when she awoken his heart chakra, and she also taught him herbalism as well. When she awoken his heart chakra, that's when he started to rebel against the master, because they killed her. And when they killed her, that's when he fucking snapped. And then when he was on the verge of completing his training, he had to kill another girl who was trying to run away. And that's when he snapped and turned on the whole fucking clan. I was like, I don't know why they would bring that up there. They know he still ain't healed from when they killed his homegirl back in the day. I don't know why they would force him to try to while they would recreate that event in his mind. So he snapped and killed as many of them motherfuckers as he could before they kicked his ass out the building. You see what I'm saying? So definitely. This is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with these shinobis and everything. These assassin techniques and these stealth techniques and camouflage, and these motherfuckers exist. And there's a group of them all across the planet. America's Navy SEALs, also known as Green Beret Special Forces. And then you got the Russian Spetsnaz, and you got MI6 and all these other motherfuckers across the planet. Everybody got their own special forces branch on the planet. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got their own special forces branch on the planet. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you got going on here when you're dealing with these ninja, these shinobi. You see what I'm saying? So now, well, let us continue here. Now we're dealing with that was the physical aspect for the most part. Now let's get into the mind of the shinobi. Like I said, shadow hands is also a philosophical fighting style. So now you gotta get into the mind of it. And so when you get into the mental side of it, you're dealing with the Genjutsu, you're dealing with the Simon Jutsu, you're dealing with the mind control and everything. I got some special things I'm gonna show y'all today with the mind control. See what I'm saying? Let's start with Genjutsu. What is Genjutsu? Genjutsu are simply illusionary techniques. You see what I'm saying? They are simply illusionary techniques. But what do we mean by that? They are illusionary techniques, or techniques that fool or manipulate the five senses. It manipulates your sight, what you see. It manipulates your sounds, what you hear. It manipulates the smell, even what you. They manipulate the sense of what you smell. They even can manipulate your sense of taste, depending on what you're doing. And because they're manipulating your senses, they can alter your reality. You see what I'm saying? Creating unforeseen events by manipulating the whole fucking way you see this world. You see what I'm saying? This is what these motherfuckers in power doing to us to this day. So now, let's go over what Genjutsu really is. Let's talk about that. Let's see this video. Got a video for that. And then we're going to get into the mind control side of it and how they using that shit against us. See what I'm saying? So, let go here.
Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Swikage here, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about Genjutsu, which literally translates to illusionary techniques. Genjutsu is one of 3 different categories used to organize different techniques into groups based on the 3 main ways that chakra can be applied in combat. While taijutsu focuses strictly on physical combat, and ninjutsu focuses on giving chakra physical form, Genjutsu focuses on applying chakra's ability to tamper with the mind. As you can probably infer based on what its name means, Genjutsu involves the use of illusions, not the Harry Houdini or a card trick kind of optical illusion, but actual real hallucinations and things of that nature. In summary, the purpose of a Genjutsu is to either make a person perceive an object that isn't actually there, or make them perceive an event that isn't actually happening. Of course, this can't be accomplished by just messing with a person's vision. For a Genjutsu to work effectively, it needs to trick all 5 of a person's senses at once, and when in the hands of a skilled user, this is what pretty much all Genjutsu aim to do. This is accomplished by altering chakra flow in the target's body, more specifically altering the way chakra flows to the brain and to the rest of the cerebral nervous system. Since this is the part of the body that controls the 5 senses, tampering with it forces people to perceive things that they shouldn't. Yin release is also integral to the effectiveness of Genjutsu, as it's what all Genjutsu draw from, though to what extent is never explained. All that's known about the correlation between yin release and Genjutsu is what the second Mizukage said about it, which is that he is a yin element, or in other words, has an affinity for yin release, meaning that he has an affinity for using Genjutsu. Nothing further than that is stated. However, with that in mind, we can make a few assumptions. The first and most obvious is that yin release and Genjutsu are heavily correlated. It's possible to have an affinity for yin release, and those with one have an affinity for using Genjutsu. Furthermore, since yin release governs the spirit and imagination, I imagine that it plays a role in helping to create the illusions that people perceive. I don't think that you using chakra to disrupt the signal sent to the brain is enough to create some of the vivid illusions born through Genjutsu. And since yin release is stated to have a whole lot of properties that complement Genjutsu, like being able to create form out of nothing, governing the spirit and the mind, and that sort of thing, I do think that yin release is at least partially used to create some of the things that people witness while under the effects of Genjutsu. Bear in mind that that's just a hypothesis and has never been stated anywhere, but it does make a decent amount of sense, so I did think it was worth mentioning. Anyhow, in terms of applications, the class of Genjutsu has just as wide and varied of a spectrum as the classes of Ninjutsu and Taijutsu do. That might sound like a bold claim to make, but it's an accurate one. Just like with Ninjutsu and Taijutsu, there are Genjutsu that fall under various different ranks, D, C, B, A, and S, all of which differ immensely from one another. As you can probably tell for yourself, since there are D-rank Genjutsu and S-rank Genjutsu, Genjutsu can have a wide variety of scale and effects, both of which depend on the user of the technique, the circumstances, the amount of chakra poured into the technique, and the intended outcome of using the Genjutsu. However, all of that said, Genjutsu do tend to have a specific set of applications that differ from those of Ninjutsu and Taijutsu. The best way I can think of to describe it is, imagine Taijutsu as the warrior class in an RPG, Ninjutsu as the mage class in an RPG, and Genjutsu as the rogue class in an RPG. Genjutsu are typically used in missions emphasizing stealth, and frequently take an unorthodox or indirect approach to solving a problem. There are far too many Genjutsu for me to list all of the notable ones, and even far too many categories of them for me to list all of the notable categories of Genjutsu. But I will provide some examples of Genjutsu to give you an idea of what they are typically used for and how varied they can tend to be. At their lowest level, Genjutsu are typically used for the sake of creating a small-scale distraction or misleading somebody in a very subtle way. The best example of this is when Sasuke used the generic Sharingan Genjutsu to trick Danzo into thinking he had more remaining time left for Izanagi than he actually did, by placing Danzo under a Genjutsu where the eyes implanted in his arms were still open. These kinds of Genjutsu typically only affect one or two senses and are most often used to mislead an enemy to get them to make a critical mistake in combat. Itachi did the same thing to Deidara when he recruited him to join the Akatsuki by making Deidara think that his explosive clay was somewhere other than where it actually was, which nearly led to Deidara blowing himself up. And I'm sure there are plenty of other examples throughout the manga of this kind of Genjutsu being employed. This same kind of Genjutsu, with the same kind of intent, meant to mislead an enemy, can be used at a higher level and has been shown to many times by Itachi Uchiha. Itachi has managed to affect all five senses at once and convince targets that they were fighting him when he was actually nowhere to be seen. And he even managed to place Sasuke under a Genjutsu where Sasuke was convinced that he just had his eye ripped out. This is probably the pinnacle of this kind of Genjutsu, because Sasuke was convinced that it was actually happening for a while. He must have been able to smell the blood coming out of his eye socket. His vision had to be cut in half. He had to be able to feel Itachi ripping his eye out. He could clearly hear the sounds of his eye being yanked out. So this is an example of Itachi manipulating 4 out of Sasuke's 5 senses with incredible precision. Another form of Genjutsu that's less frequently employed involves the user controlling their target, albeit pretty subtly. The best example of this was when Kakashi used his Sharingan's Genjutsu to subtly coerce Zabuza into weaving hand seals at his command. This led Zabuza to believe that Kakashi could read his mind and see the future, and really threw Zabuza off, leading to him losing the entire battle. The highest level of this kind of Genjutsu is Shisuiyuchiha's Mangakyo Sharingan ability, Kodo Amatsukami, which, I mean, like, it just gives a person complete control over somebody else, and they have absolutely no idea that they're being controlled the entire time. This Genjutsu was powerful enough to break Itachi free of Kabuto's control when he was revived through Edo Tensei. So it's no joke, it's really strong. The most frequently employed kind of Genjutsu involves manipulating all of a person's senses at once, and it's generally really obviously fake. These kinds of Genjutsu are transparent about the fact that they're Genjutsu, and don't aim to mislead or control anybody, just to inflict so much mental trauma that it causes actual physical pain. These are typically the most frequently employed because of the fact that they require the least amount of precision and subtlety to use, and are just full-blown cerebral assaults against another person. Taiyuya's flute-based Genjutsu is an example of this, but one of the most powerful examples of this kind of Genjutsu is Tsukuyomi, which was strong enough to leave Kakashi hospitalized for, well, I mean, he had to stay in the hospital until Tsunade arrived in the Hidden Leaf Village. The only reason he was able to wake up at all is because Tsunade is a medical expert. Tsukuyomi is, along with Kodo Amatsukami, hailed as one of the strongest Genjutsu because of its ability to manipulate the target's perception of time. Kakashi spent 3 days inside of the Genjutsu, though these 3 days were dragged out extensively by Itachi, as Itachi has full control over the passing of time in the world of Tsukuyomi. The thing is, it didn't actually last for 3 days. It's really difficult to explain, but on the base layer of the Genjutsu you have it lasts for 72 hours. Then on the second level of the Genjutsu, you have the fact that Itachi can control how long it takes for these 72 hours to pass. Then on the third level of the Genjutsu, these 3 days actually pass in less than a second in real life. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. Of course, the most powerful Genjutsu of all are Izanami, Izanagi, and the infinite Tsukuyomi, but I'll explain those in a separate video because they're complex enough as it is. But yeah, for now I'm pretty sure you guys all understand the basics of how Genjutsu work. The last 2 things I need need to talk about are how Genjutsu are countered and how commonly Genjutsu is seen in the Naruto world. First, I'll talk about the frequency of its use, since that's the easiest to cover. Genjutsu isn't frequently employed by too many shinobi in the Naruto world, at least not when compared to Ninjutsu and Taijutsu. Genjutsu specialists are pretty rare, to say the least, and this is likely due to many things. Not only is there approximately a 1 in 7 chance of being born with an affinity for yin release, furthermore, I assume controlling Genjutsu is very difficult. Not even Jiraiya's good with Genjutsu, so I mean, you know. On top of that, Genjutsu don't have too many direct combat applications and are typically used as support jutsu. Genjutsu rarely ever do any noteworthy physical damage, so most people prefer to stick with Ninjutsu and Taijutsu. The only known counters to Genjutsu are the Sharingan, which is capable of breaking through most Genjutsu, even other Sharingan-induced Genjutsu. The disruption of the target's chakra flow, which can be induced either by the target themselves or by somebody else. And this is how many Jinchuriki are able to escape from Genjutsu almost immediately, as their tailed beasts supply them with enough chakra to at least temporarily disrupt the flow of it within their body. Jutsu with the primary goal of obstructing vision also reduce the effectiveness of ocular Genjutsu, and pain from the real world, as in pain not caused by the Genjutsu itself, can be used to break free of a Genjutsu as well. Anyway, I think that about covers everything there is to say about Genjutsu, though if you do have any unanswered questions about it, leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely make sure to answer them. But assuming I am done with everything Genjutsu related, this is where I'm going to end the video. So as
y'all can see, he touched on a lot of things. This application of Genjutsu or illusionary techniques, this manipulation of the 5 senses, is the basis for how they created MK Ultra technologies. See what I'm saying? These technologies just mimicking your spirituality and your mentalism and your soulity. You see what I'm saying? That's all they doing, and of course mimicking your physicality as well, your body. So as y'all just heard, those principles sound familiar if you've ever studied the MK Ultra and how it works. Manipulation of 5 senses, manipulation of your life force energy is how it flows through your to your brain, manipulation of how it operates in your brain, and feeding you a narrative. They call it mythioposis or mythoposis. Yeah, mythoposis. Right, feeding you, writing, creating, and feeding you a narrative that they want you to see, hear, and know, which is usually completely different from what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you got going on here when you're dealing with these Genjutsu techniques or illusionary techniques. Of course, I told y'all an aspect of that is mind control. Now, what is mind control? Mind control is the ability to manipulate the mind in many different ways. Like I said, when we deal with controlling the 5 senses, when you control perception, you control reality. So if you control sound, you control reality. And of course, if you control the way you think, you automatically control reality. And what's worse, they can misdirect the way you think, the way you see, and the way you hear, and move that in the direction they want to via this practice known as mythoposis. You see what I'm saying? So now, how does this mind control shit work? They actually put it in the movie. Some years back. Y'all know it's Batman Forever. Y'all remember the Riddler? Y'all remember Jim Carrey? Yeah, when he played the Riddler, he was doing what? He was creating mind-altering and mind-manipulation technologies, or MK Ultra technologies, in the movie. And he showed you what he was doing. He showed you how he created the technology. He showed you how he fucking with your brain and your mind, and with the TV and television and everything. And what's worse, he was actually draining your mental energy and your life force through the technologies. Oh, y'all gotta see this for yourself. Here we go. Y'all see that? Y'all see how he feeding him energy just through the television?
Losing resolution. More power.
Brain drain.
I'll take what's inside. Thick skull number 1. What have we got for him, Johnny? Stickly. Breakthrough. Gonna break down? Maybe. Nevertheless, I'm smarter. I'm a genius. No, several geniuses. A gaggle, a swarm, a flock of freaking Freuds. Riddle me this, Fred. What is everything to someone and nothing to everyone else? You're mine, baby! And now mine comes with the power of yours. Something of your IQ. Vacuuming cortex. Feeding off your brain. What the hell just happened? A very surprising side effect.
He don't remember nothing.
Well, you were mesmerized by my 3D TV. I utilized your neural energy to grow smarter. Bruce Wayne was right. You demented, bizarre, unethical toad. It is brain manipulation.
Yep.
I'm reporting you to the FCC, the Human Experimentation Board, the AMI, and the police. You are going up on charges. To court, to jail, and then to a mental institution for the rest of your twisted life. But first and foremost, Enigma,
What did he say? Listen to what he said one more time.
what the hell just happened? A very surprising side effect.
He don't remember nothing.
Well, you were mesmerized by my 3D TV. I utilized your neural energy to grow smarter. Bruce Wayne was right. You demented, bizarre, unethical toad. It is brain manipulation.
Brain manipulation. He literally sucked up Cuz' mental energy and life force and stored it into himself, and he became smarter. He even masters this shit. He creates satellites through the TVs, and the satellites through the TV is absorbing everybody's energy and sending it to a central fucking satellite, and it's being absorbed into his consciousness. Just straight vampirism of your mental energy. That's why TVs are deadly. He dropped the whole science on how this shit work. Hold on. Let me see here.
The silver closet on your way. Now you can be part of the action. Nigmatech brings the joy of 3D entertainment into your living room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you my vision. A box in every home in America, and one day the world.
In local news, Edward Nygma's 3D box has become the rage of Gotham. Rioting occurred last night at electronic stores which were sold out. There's hardly a home without the Nygmatech box.
You got sucking up their
Critics have
energy.
claimed the box turns Gothamites into zombies, but Edward Nygma just shrugs. That's what they said when TV was invented.
That guy's being absorbed. He absorbing all the mental energy. This is what these Kabbalah cultures do. So y'all think it ain't real?
Into your living room! Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you my vision. The box in every home in America, and one day the world.
In local news, Edward Nygma's 3D box has become the rage of Gotham. Rioting occurred last night at electronic stores which were sold out. There's hardly a home without the Nygma Tech box. Critics have claimed the box turns Gothamites into zombies, but Edward Nygma just shrugs. That's what they said when TV was invented.
Damn, they're sucking up your brain waves, your mental energy, and storing it into a grand central satellite where they funneling that energy into themselves, making themselves smarter. Now, what is Nygma Tech? Nygma Tech is MK Ultra Technologies. Simple, easy, mind control technologies, right? That's what MK Ultra stands for. Mind control ultra, or ultra mind control. That's basically what it means. Now, you see how he was sucking up your life force, seeing how he was sucking up your mental energy and making you a vegetable. You see what I'm saying? A zombie. That's why when most people get up from the TV, they be tired. You see what I'm saying? If you watch TV for so long, you be exhausted because the TV absorbs your mental energy using those frequencies, using those imageries, like he did with old buddy in the first video. He projected to him an image, a 3D image, and while he watching this 3D image, he's sucking up his life force through this 3D image. You see what I'm saying? So unless you know how to disarm these images, via occult warfare, and knowing that just walking into a movie or a TV show or just watching TV period, unless you know how to disarm it by just knowing that just turning on TV is a form of MK Ultra, then they got you. They sucking up your energy. You see what I'm saying? They sucking up everybody's energy. That's why motherfuckers be vegetables after watching TV for 5-6 hours. And that's why they have a hard time getting up. That's why they have a hard time doing this. You know, if you ever notice when you get up from watching TV, you can barely get up, it's because your mental energy been drained. You see what I'm saying? Your emotional energy been drained. Your spiritual energy been drained. That's why. MK Ultra Technologies, or Nygma Tech, as they called it in this particular movie. This is mind control in the basis of Genjutsu. You see what I'm saying? The basis of Genjutsu on this particular, what we've been talking about here, illusionary techniques. So this is how they're using it on a massive scale. This is what they're using to fool you and write their narratives, mythoposis. They're using all their technologies, their MK Ultra technologies, to fool you into thinking that this and that is happening, when in actuality, the actual reality of the situation is much different. That's how it works. That's how MK Ultra works. I really wanted to bring that one to y'all to show y'all how it works. Now, let's move on to the spiritual aspect of Ninjutsu. And the spiritual aspect of Ninjutsu is called Ninpo. N-I-N-P-O. Ninpo. What does Ninpo actually mean? Ninpo is the ultimate and eternal reality experience through spiritual perseverance and stealth techniques. You see what I'm saying? So definitely. That's what this is. It is also spiritual exercises with physical movements that invokes sexual stimulation, which you transmute into life force. You see what I'm saying? Which you transmute into life force. See what I'm saying? So this is what you got going on here. This is what you got going on. So yeah, now before we get into that, there are many different Genjutsu techniques. You know, the illusionists, the rainmakers, everybody have their own, techniques. But you got Mangakyo, the secret techniques of Dainichi Niyomi, or Nyorai, the Genjutsu, which we'll get into. For the spiritual techniques, those are teachings of the mountain dwellers, mountain sages, also known as sage arts. Let's see, you got Taijutsu, Seku, or Suku, Kushugu, or Kushigo, which is body techniques of walking like the wind. Shuriken and Kodachi, throwing blade and small sword. Higaki no Ichibi, war strategies. Shuigendo and Sexo Jutsu, mountain asceticism and scouting techniques, of course, invisibility and sensory manipulation. So yeah, those are some of the other techniques of Genjutsu, along with mind control. And you also have dojutsu techniques as well, which are ocular abilities. See what I'm saying? Abilities, mental abilities, or mental techniques projected through your eyes, also known as visual prowess. So you have those as well. Now, let's get into Ninpo, these spiritual techniques, these spiritual abilities. Now, Ninpo is very interesting because Ninpo shows you that all true sciences have a spiritual side to it. You see what I'm saying? All true sciences have a spiritual side to it. So now, what are we dealing with when we're dealing with spirituality? You see what I'm saying? When we're dealing with the ultimate reality, the eternal realm, and the building up your spirit and soul. You see what I'm saying? Spirit and soulity. Well, Ninja figured out how to do it through stealth, or the shadow hand techniques. They figured out that there's a series of meditative techniques that you can use to develop these abilities. And they include astral projection, shape-shifting, flight or flying, using chi to walk. You see what I'm saying? Yokai or Ruki, which are the 3 external harmonies, and you also got the 3 internal harmonies as well. 8 directional leaping, shamanic mind control, which is being able to combat spirits with your mind, which is a very useful ability. Shamanic mind controls allow you to fight spirits and fuck them up with just pure with pure mental, imaginary, spiritual force. You see what I'm saying? Genjutsu, of course, the illusionary techniques, Simon Jutsu, hypnotic techniques, we already talked about that. Cloaking energy presence, or the force cloak, we talked about that. Enlightenment is also achieved through body techniques, meditation, and sexual stimulation, or Kundalini awakening. You also have the Juji principle, which is the practice of merging with your higher self. You have Kiyomon, spiritual concepts, taboos, and symbols. You have the Kekkei Genkai, inherited abilities from clans and bloodlines, abilities passed down genetically. You have chanting, or divine utterance. And our Kekkei Genkai, if you ever watch Naruto, is very big on the bloodline abilities. You see what I'm saying? So next, you have chanting, divine utterance, Olo techniques, which is explosive abilities, Kundalini techniques, or overall force abilities, Hashiman Tonko Jutsu, the 8 methods of incantation, and Taijutsu Sosoko Shugyo, which is body techniques, which is Senseko, Genjutsu, scouting techniques, and actual combat. So those are some of the spiritual skills of Ninpo. You see what I'm saying? Of Ninpo. Make sure I got them all here. Oh yeah, you got Yojutsu, which are skills performed by borrowing supernatural powers from various spirits. Let's see. The Kuji are 9 words used in charms and incantations. Kuden are 9 transmissions which were used to transmit the doctrine of the mystic. You see what I'm saying? And they also said people who have frequent sexual experiences have little interest in war and aggression. So, which is true. You know, most sex you have, the more you give a fuck about fighting. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. So those are some of the Ninpo abilities, some of the Ninpo techniques. So even they had their own spiritual system. You see what I'm saying? Which Batman was that? That was Batman Forever. So yeah, even they had their own spiritual abilities. You see what I'm saying? That you can tap into. Also, let's see here. I got a few videos for y'all on the different aspects of Ninpo. You got Ninja Assassin. I mean, not Ninja Assassin. We already talked about that. Oh yeah, I gotta show y'all Ninja hand signs. We're gonna stop there first. Let's see. Then you got Naruto Shippuden, learning the elements. We're gonna talk about that. So Senjutsu Sage Mode, which is natural fusion. We're gonna talk about that. yin yang release, and we're gonna talk about the chi or the life force in and of itself. So let us begin. Let's start with the hand signs first, then we're gonna deal with chi, then we're gonna deal with everything else. How about that? Come back to that. Let's deal with these hand signs.
Please review for me the 9 levels of power. Rin, strength of mind and body. Kyo, direction of energy. Do, harmony with the universe. Sha, healing self and others. Kai, premonition of danger. Jin, knowing the thoughts of others. Retsu, mastery of time and space. Sai, controlling the elements of nature. Zen, enlightenment. You have done well. You have passed.
Those are the 9 mudras that he showed. There's other videos y'all want to deal with, but I just wanted to expose y'all to the nine hand signs. You see what I'm saying? The 9 major ones anyway. There are multiple different varieties, like 33 of them. It's like 33 to 100 different varieties of the motherfuckers. But yeah, y'all. But there are 9 major hand signs, also known as mudra as well. Let's see here. So now let's get into the chi side of things. Check out what he says here.
Indeed, there are 2 kinds of strength. The outer strength is obvious. It fades with age and succumbs to sickness. Then there is the chi, the inner strength. Everyone possesses it too. But it is indeed much more difficult to develop. The inner strength lasts through every heat and every cold, through old age and beyond.
He goes on to the 3 ways to build chi energy: meditation, mindfulness. And he has a second one. Let's see here.
Maybe your air conditioning is on, but you never.
Oh yeah, and being present in the moment, being in the now. So yeah. So meditation, mindfulness of what's going on around you, and being present in the moment. So yeah. So there you go. Not much to really focus on there. So now let us talk about the chakra natures, or the chi natures, or your ability. What's up, Esther? Your ability to y'all may not know this, but all your life force or your chi aligns with a particular element. Like mine aligns with air. Well, everybody has their own, and you can figure out this by pretty much connecting with all the elements. If it's air, it's gonna feel like a whirlwind that explodes out of your soul. If it's fire, your soul gonna create a burning effect. If it's earth, it's gonna create a quaking effect. And if it's water, it's gonna create a splashing effect. It can also be lightning, which your soul will crackle. It can be magnetism, it's gonna create like this woo sound. And then there are other elements, like if it's ice, of course it'll create a freezing effect. If it's sound itself, it's gonna feel like a melody inside of you just awakened. Trying to think of any other major elements, but you see where I'm coming from. If of course, if it's darkness, it's gonna feel like a black hole inside of you. And if it's light, it's gonna feel like the sun. You see what I'm saying? Just erupts out of you. So this is what you got going on with your natural affinity. You have a natural affinity with these particular elements. You see what I'm saying? So now, here we go. They're gonna talk about chakra natures a little bit here.
chakra natures for some reason, and I mean, well, I'm not gonna say no. It is a very simple concept, so keep that in mind. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. So, first of all, it's pretty difficult to explain what a chakra nature is just because of how simple it is. The entire definition for it is pretty much in its name. All a chakra nature is the nature of a particular mass of chakra. There are many different kinds of chakra natures throughout the Naruto universe, and all of them are the basic foundation of many of the universe's ninjutsu. The five most basic of these chakra natures are fire or katon, wind or futon, lightning or raiton, earth or doton, and water or swan. I doubt you need this explained to you, but each of the five chakra natures represents one of the five elements. Applying one of these five natures to changes the properties of that chakra, and doing so is referred to as a nature transformation. By applying both a nature transformation and a shape transformation, which changes a chakra's form, a person can perform one of many elemental ninjutsu. Each of the five chakra natures are strong against one chakra nature and weak against another. Fire is strong against wind, wind is strong against lightning, lightning is strong against earth, earth is strong against water, and water is strong against fire. As you can see, all of these advantages and disadvantages form a nice little circle, so they're easy to remember. While these advantages and disadvantages have no direct effect on people themselves, they are crucial in determining how certain ninjutsu react to one another. Anyway, moving on. The chakra of every shinobi in the Naruto universe, without exception, has an affinity for one of these five basic natures. Sometimes a person's chakra affinity is up to genetics, as most members of the Uchiha clan have an affinity for fire, and other times it's just a case-by-case thing. Generally, this nature affinity won't have any effect on a person's physical capabilities, but their natural affinity will make it easier for them to learn ninjutsu of whatever element they have an affinity for. Ninja with a fire affinity can learn fire jutsu more quickly, etc., etc. It is perfectly reasonable for somebody to be able to master an element that they don't have an affinity for, but this is relatively rare and typically requires at least a Jonin level skill. In extremely rare cases, a person will be able to master all five basic nature transformations, but doing so through natural means and with no outside assistance is very difficult. The only characters to have done this are Orochimaru, the first three Hokage, and the second Tsuchikage, so it is quite a feat. Anyway, moving on. By simultaneously applying 2 or 3 chakra natures to a person's chakra when performing a ninjutsu, it's possible to access some special nature transformations that exist outside of the basic 5. These special nature transformations are ice release, which is created by combining water and wind, wood release, which is created by combining water and earth, lava release, which is created by combining fire and earth, storm release, which is created by combining water and lightning, dust release, a Keke Toda created by combining fire, earth, and wind, explosion release, scorch release, and magnet release. The elemental combinations for the last 3 are never outright stated in the manga or anime, but explosion release seems to be made up of earth and lightning, scorch release seems to be made up of wind and fire, and magnet release seems to be made up of wind and earth. Finally, we come to the last 2 nature transformations, yin release and yang release, which all non-elemental ninjutsu use as a foundation. Techniques that draw from yin and yang release are very common throughout the series, and they include jutsu like medical ninjutsu, Shikamaru's shadow ninjutsu, the sound jutsu used by Orochimaru's henchmen in the Chunin exams, and everything in between. Most, if not all, Genjutsu also rely heavily on yin release, so it's safe to say that both yin and yang release play a major role in the Naruto universe. When yin and yang release are combined together, they produce yin-yang release, which gives a person access to Hack's Jesus powers, like the ability to reverse the negative effects of the 8th gate and create an entirely new eyeball for somebody. Now then, I think that's about everything. I think I've done a pretty good job overviewing the concept of chakra natures as a whole. As much as I'd love to go into detail about each of these chakra natures individually...
There y'all go. All y'all chi aligns with a specific type of chakra. Specific type of element. My bad. And y'all, like I said, y'all can find out by working with the elements in your kinetic practices, your kinetic arts, and see which element aligns with. The easiest way to build up your elemental abilities is by first focusing on your natural element first, and then once you develop your natural element, then you can move on to the other elements for yourself. You see what I'm saying? So mine was air, so I focused on air a lot to do a lot of things, air punches, knocking shit down, yada 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 yada. Yours may be fire, others may be water or earth or lightning or magnetism, yada 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 yada. But y'all had to find out by manipulating the different forces and seeing which one. Like I said, your soul will let you know, because it will react to that particular element, and according to the properties of that element. So like I said, if it's water, Your soul will create a splashing effect. If it's fire, it'll create a burning effect. If it's earth, it'll create a quaking effect. If it's air, it'll create a whirlwind effect. Lightning, like I said, crackling, magnetism, it'll create like a woo sound. Darkness, black hole, light, feel like a sun just erupted inside of you. Ice, it'll create a freezing effect, of course. Sound, it feels like a melody has awakened inside of you, a musical melody, notes. So yeah, so on and so forth. So you can check that out for yourself. So there you go. There you go. Next is what they call Genjutsu, the Sage Arts. So Marvin, what is the Sage Arts? The Sage Arts are sacred practices in Japan that focus on building up your life force, building up your energetic aura around you, the force around you, and fusing it inside of you. They call it nature energy. Fusing that nature energy inside you and combining it with your yin and yang, right? But before we can even get to explaining Sage Mode, we gotta first explain yin yang release. How does that work?
Alright, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about the granddaddy, Mac Daddy of all nature transformations, Yin Yang Release. So, despite what its name may lead you to believe, Yin Yang Release is not just composed of Yin Release and Yang Release. As a matter of fact, it can be considered a combination of every nature transformation that exists in the Naruto universe, including Yin, Yang, and all 5 basic elemental natures. Essentially, Yin Yang Jutsu are able to draw from any aspect of chakra that they wish to, and as a result, there are some Yin Yang Jutsu that rely more heavily on their yin-yang composition than they do on their elemental composition, and vice versa. It's a little bit complicated, but the best way to make it easier for yourself to understand is to think of yin-yang release as not a combination of every nature transformation, but instead the application of chakra in its purest form. See, the various natures in the Naruto universe that Shinobi draw from are all derived from yin-yang release, not the other way around, and that's a pretty important distinction to make. As a result of it being this super ancient, all-powerful combination of all of the natures, Yin-Yang Release allows its wielders access to some of the fiercest abilities in the Naruto universe, like reality manipulation and the ability to outright nullify other ninjutsu. Thanks to its ability to draw from both Yin and Yang, Yin-Yang Release Jutsu can be applied in both tangible and intangible ways. The truth-seeking orbs can be considered the pinnacle of ninjutsu, or the height of its physical applications, as they can nullify all ninjutsu and be applied in ways more numerous than any of the 5 basic elemental natures can. Izanagi can be considered the pinnacle of Genjutsu, or the height of its intangible applications, as it allows a person to cast a Genjutsu on themselves so powerful that they can freely choose how reality affects them. Of course, these are just 2 examples, and it's possible to apply Yin-Yang Release in many more ways, both tangible and intangible. Without a doubt, though, the most powerful ability that Yin-Yang Release allows a person access to draws from both of these concepts, and it's the creation of all things technique, which, well, it does what it sounds like it does. With it, a person can freely create and manipulate life or other objects, as seen when the Sage of 6 Paths used it to creation of all things technique, which, well, it does what it sounds like it does. With it, a person can freely create and
check out what it do. Yin nature, or yin, the yin aspect of creation, deals with administering imagination and the spiritual energy which forms the basis of yin power. He would use the yin force to create shape and form from nothingness, from melanin. Nothingness is melanin. Now, then he will go on to use the yang element by administering vitality and physical energy, which forms the basis of yang power. He will breathe life into that form, which is your life force, which is the physical energy. You see what I'm saying? The vitality, your vigor, your sense of life. You see what I'm saying? Your animation. So if the yin element deals with producing the spirit, then producing the spirit and molding that spirit into shape and form via your imagination and your will, then the yang energy deals with taking that and taking that will and creating matter and vitality and giving that matter life, which is a form of vitality and vigor, and producing physical energy, which is chemical energy. You see what I'm saying? Creating chemical intelligences through the use of that, through that spiritual energy. You see what I'm saying? And it will breathe life into their form, which just animates it. You see what I'm saying? So yang energy deals with animation, Yin energy deals with creation. You see what I'm saying? So creation from nothingness. What is nothingness? Nothingness is source melanin. See what I'm saying? See, the force is originally, and force is source melanin. The universal life wind that spawns out of the darkness. Then it spawns itself, breaks itself up into two aspects, which is yin and yang, or dark and light. And from there, it creates multiple aspects from itself using the yin principle and the yang principle. You see what I'm saying? The yin-yang energy, or yin-yang magic. So that's how it works. That's how it works there. So let's finish up this video and we'll continue moving.
Manipulate life or other objects, as seen when the Sage of Six Paths used it to split the Ten Tails into 9 separate tailed beasts. The 9-tailed beasts aren't reminiscent of the Ten Tails at all, by the way. They each have distinct appearances and personalities, and all the Sage of Six Paths did was give form and life to the chakra of the Ten Tails. It's an incredibly powerful technique. Naruto has also used it to restore lost organs or body parts, like when he replaced Kakashi's missing eye. The limits of the technique have never been specified, but given the difference in magnitude between Hagoromo's application and
the ten tails is the 10 spheres of the Kabbalah. You see what I'm saying? The 10 spheres of the Kabbalah. That's all it is. The Sephiroth, the tree of life. You see what I'm saying?
Naruto's application, I think it's fair to assume that its limits are somewhat based on the amount of chakra held by its user. Now, like both yin release and yang release individually, there's not a whole lot to talk about regarding yin-yang release because we haven't seen a whole lot of it in the series. It undoubtedly has ties to the Sage of Six Paths and the rest of the old Otsutsuki clan, which is, without a doubt, one of the reasons why the audience doesn't get to see a whole lot of it, but not much is known about it outside of what I've already explained. It also has pretty strong ties to Six Path Sage Mode, which you can learn about in my Sage Mode video. But because of how strongly the two are connected, it's a bit difficult to infer what traits belong specifically to Six Path Sage Mode and what traits belong specifically to Yin-Yang release users. So that said, I guess this is all I have to say about Yin-Yang release. Next week, we're going to be talking...
But yeah, Yin-Yang is the aspects of the force which it uses to create life or animate life. You see what I'm saying? Create and animate life. How about that? To keep it simple. So next we're going to talk about Sage Mode or Genjutsu, and we'll pretty much wrap it up. These different abilities.
Alright, so after 2 million years, I'm finally doing that Sage Mode video that everybody wanted. Woohoo! Let's get started. Sage Mode has been used on many occasions throughout the series, but it made its debut in Jiraiya's battle with Pain, or more specifically in Naruto Chapter 375. If I make one thing clear in this video, it needs to be that Sage Mode is no joke. Even when using an imperfect form of Sage Mode, Jiraiya managed to give Pain a run for his money, and when using a perfected form of Sage Mode, Naruto managed to take out 5 paths of Pain by himself. Kabuto's Sage Mode allowed him to take on Sasuke and Itachi at the same time with ease, and Hashirama's Sage Mode allowed him